Hey, what's up, garden friends? How's everybody doing? Hope you're good. I'm in a hurry. I just talked with my mother and she asked me if I could throw together like a gift planter for her to give to her hairdresser who she's known for many years, and I did that last year and I think I did a video on it too. If I did, then you'll be seeing it right now probably. Just a clip of it. It's kind of last minute though because her appointment's in like an hour, so I need to get something planted up as quickly as I can and get that to her. Guess I just need to go rummage through my plants, see what I have. I know I have some leftover things from last year, like some little thing. I think this is perfect. That'll be good for a gift. A little wagon, sleigh. All right, so have that. As far as the plants go, I don't really think I have a ton of like excess. I can use the Cyclamen. That'll work. Okay, but whatever I put with the Cyclamen is going to definitely need to be something that's, you know, compatible with Cyclamen. They tend to do better with a good amount of light when they're in the house. I mean, I guess it's like part sun. Maybe, let's see. I have maybe this guy. Could use a little bit of cleaning up. That's not that big of a deal. Those, yeah, that's like holiday-like. This Calathea is definitely not going to want as much light. Well, actually it might be okay. Nah. Cyclamen can really be kind of finicky indoors just as they are, so I don't know if I want to pair them up with something that's also going to be finicky. The nice thing about this guy is it's going to be a little bit more resilient, so even if the Cyclamen doesn't hold on and do well for the person, they'll still have this guy, which does not have a label. It's similar to a Marble Queen Pothos, but that's not what this is. I'll dig around, see what I can find for a name on this guy. What about some palm trees? It depends on... These are the Neanthe or Parlour palms. Depends on how loose those clumps are, because I would have to divide some out. I wouldn't want to put this entire thing in there. That'd be way too much. I mean, I do feel like you kind of lose the Christmassy vibe with the palm tree, but not necessarily. A poinsettia would be perfect, but all my poinsettias are way too big. And I've gotten a decent amount of growth out of this Parlour palm, so I don't really want to go tearing it up. Okay, well, at least I have these. I think I do have some small poinsettias inside. It's also important to try and not forget size, like how much space do I have here? You know, I tend to cram things in pretty tight. I would prefer to do this with succulents, but I don't have enough notice for that. And that adds up very quickly. It gets very expensive because you need so many to have a nice full arrangement. I don't know how I'm feeling about this though. Maybe with some picks, and it needs a pop of color. That's what it is. I'm gonna go see if I have a poinsettia inside. So I do have the poinsettia. I went ahead and I grabbed some other crafty type things. Got a bag of ornaments here. These are actually, I use a lot of these as cat toys. So that's why there's cat toys mixed in there. Do think this poinsettia is kind of on its way out, I think, but maybe not. I think that that's going to add the necessary pop of color. I have a Christmas cactus, or Thanksgiving cactus, Chamaedorea truncata, I believe. Might be saying it wrong. I don't think compatibility-wise that's going to do the best. These like more water than a desert cactus, but not as much as this guy down here or as the Cyclamen. So, I don't know. That seems like a bad idea, but I think it would look really pretty. I could keep it in this pot. Nah. If it was somebody who's like a friend or I talked to, or if I had time to write out like a care sheet, then I could pot this in there separately, like keep the plastic around it and leave it up a little bit higher and say to not water, to water around this with the other It's too complicated. I'm not going to do that. Parlour palms it is. I went ahead. They pulled right out, no problem. They divided very easily, so wasn't a big deal there, and it will add some height. Okay, if it were me, I would want a drainage hole in this, but I'm like hardcore into drainage. Just get a little bit more torn on it when something is a gift for someone, because they go to water it and water gets over the counter, and it's like you have to remember to tell them, hey, there's a hole in the bottom, so carry this to your sink to water it. And what if they want to reuse it? Maybe I'll just put just a small hole. I'll just put in a little one. Right, gonna go ahead, fill in this up, put a decent amount of soil in here. I'm using a cactus palm mix. I've mentioned before, I feel like that's an odd combination because these are plants, all three of these, that don't necessarily need the same soil. But I want to use that type of blend because it's going to dry more quickly since there's just a teeny tiny little hole in there. I actually ended up putting several holes in there, and I figured just like make sure the person knows that, hey, there's a hole in this, so take it to the sink to water it. It's just better for the longevity of the plant, you know? Putting in just a little bit of Osmocote in here. It's a decent all-purpose slow-release fertilizer, has lots of macros and micros in it. I might put in a smidge of Espoma Biotone, just because you get the healthy roots, you get the healthy plants, and the palm and citrus mix tends to be fairly void of. What is by putting sticks in the soil now? See, this is the soil line here. It can't go any higher than that. So I think actually putting the palm in is going to have to happen last, which isn't ideal, but I want the palm back here just because it's going to give a little bit of height. Not a ton, but some. Here with that Cyclamen. I didn't loosen the root mass too terribly much because they, in my experience, they don't usually respond well for me if I have to chop away at things too much. Poinsettia, go. Poinsettia, however you feel like saying it. Okay, I've made some changes. The main thing I did was I pulled some of the soil out and put in a little bit of just regular all-purpose potting mix. And that's really just because these are pretty much all plants that like a consistently moist soil. So even though I don't want it to hold on to moisture for a long time, it shouldn't dry out too terribly fast. So I think a 50-50 blend should be okay here. What was that? Make claws when I'm making a point? No, that's weird. All right, I know I had said I wanted something with some height back here, but the more I look at this, since it's 4 different plants, I think this would actually be better in the center. Like so. I'm just gonna kind of roughly set it there for right now. Oh, it's okay, go back with your family. And what I've done here with this Epiprinium, with this Pothos, I don't know the variety for sure. It looks like it's probably a variety called Enjoy or Glacier, or there is one other, I don't know, but I went ahead and I divided it up. Usually when you get these sorts of plants in these smaller 4 to 6 inch pots, the Pothos and whatnot, there's usually several cuttings in there you can pull apart. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do to even this out a little bit is separate it out and kind of tuck another one in here, then another one on the other side. That should help tie it together and keep it from being so uneven and wonky. This is all assuming that there's 2 more plants in here. Looks like I missed a couple of these bad leaves. Nice thing with these is you can just sort of pop them right out real easily. That's nice. There's another one here with a hole in it, so I'm gonna go ahead and reach down here as close as I can and gently lift and pull. Snaps right out and can root that cutting and get another plant. That's fun. Don't know if I'm going to do that or not, but it is an option. Seeing here where the original cuttings are, sometimes those pull out fairly easily. I don't think I want to take just that one though. That's just going to be a few weird looking leaves. I'd rather get a larger clump than that. Yes. There we go. Pardon the lighting. I'm doing everything on the fly here, so I don't really set up to film a video. But see here how these pieces looks together, but then you lift it up and just gently maneuver it a little bit and they kind of come apart. That's how I know where to divide this. I'll work this division in here. Another one over here, just because I don't know what direction he's going to want to display this in. So I want to keep it even. Okay, and I held on to the tag for that Cyclamen, and I'm going to go ahead and stick that down in there, but just out of sight. Alright, and then a very quick cleanup, just because I'm going to be dressing this up, and I don't want soil getting tossed around and mixed onto the things I throw in there, so we're going to tidy up real quick and Christmas this thing up. I was going to pack this in with some sheet moss, but this is the only bag I have left, and it's really kind of lost its luster. It's green and lushness, I should say. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I feel like whoever's looking at it would barely even be able to see the moss. Something with some contrast would work a little bit better. So I'm going to top dress it with some sand, I think, this white craft sand. I think that'll work well. Yeah, see, the sand, you can hardly even see that. And it makes sense because, you know, kind of like snow, I suppose. But the moss, it definitely wouldn't have been able to see that in there. It's just nice to have something to help control things a little bit when somebody goes to water it so the soil's not moving all over the place. This fine-grained gravel or sand isn't going to do much, but I think I might put some other stuff on top of the soil. Like maybe some of these ornaments and bells. That might be pretty. Went ahead and I picked out the shinier of the bunch. That way they kind of just stand out better. Don't think I want the reds and greens right next to each other. I do wish that there was a better assortment of these guys, but that's alright. Working with what I got and in a hurry. Yeah, I like that. I think that looks cute. Like I said, I do wish I had some more and a better variety of colors. It would be really neat if they would kind of bubble up, and if I could stack them up in the back here. That would be adorable, but I don't have it. I do have a lot of holiday picks though. So, I mean, here's a little present. That might be, I mean, you can't really even see that in there, but I'm gonna play around with these and see what can be done here to add a little bit more life to the back here. These picks here that have these fun, colorful little, I guess they're supposed to be berries. I don't know. I feel like those will add a nice holiday touch in there. You know, and I have one on each side, and I'm kind of bending them around a little bit just because the straightness of it throws off the natural appeal to plants. And I think it'd be too much to put a third here in the front. So I'm just sort of manipulating them, trying to get them to sort of blend together a little bit more seamlessly. The trick here is I want it to be an accent. It shouldn't be something that stands out terribly. It should just add a little bit more vibrancy to it. What about this decapitated snowman head? I think that might be kind of cute in there. Might make more sense if it was Santa Claus, but no, I like that. I do, however, feel like that should be more of a centerpiece amongst everything. I think that'd look kind of funny if it were just back there. Went ahead and I decided to use the rest of the ornaments that didn't necessarily match to just sort of fill up the back here. I like it for being thrown together at the last minute. I think that came out pretty nice. I went ahead and I put this present up here in the front because it is a sleigh, so it makes sense. I will say this is definitely, I'd say, favors this side. The appeal is more in this direction for sure. That's just because if I had another poinsettia, I could have put that on the other end. But real talk, let's be honest here. What do you think the odds are that the person who's receiving this is going to want to keep that poinsettia and be like, oh, I need to keep this as a hat? Probably not. You know, it's just kind of the reality with these guys. Most people toss them when they're done flowering because their aftercare isn't that simple. It's actually not that hard. You just got to make sure you cut all the stuff off where it's red and treat it like a houseplant basically for several months. It's getting them to bloom again that's more complicated. That's neither here nor there. That's not what's happening in this video. Yeah, I like it. It's got some whimsy to it. It's elaborate but simple at the same time. I did fill the back up, as I just told you. You know, the back's full of ornaments. I had been hoping to kind of adjust these little balls that are sticking up behind there, but it turns out those aren't flexible. They're not on bendable wire, so that's kind of the way they need to be. Quick, simple, just a few plants. Managed to just use the one Pothos, the Poinsettia, Cyclamen, and some of that Parlour palm, the Neanthe. You know, a bunch of cheap plastic ornaments, a few picks, and yeah, okay, I guess it's kind of elaborate. Not really, though. I did have some fairy lights that I thought about stringing around the edge here, and then I could stuff the battery pack down in here, but I think that would be too much for this. Oh, I sort of want to do it now. Ah, there we go. Oh, you can't really tell, can you? I went ahead and I strung some fairy lights in there. Not many. It's very subtle. Just enough to sort of add a gentle glow to it. They're on a timer. They're back here, the plastic baggie, so they won't get, the battery pack won't get wet. They'll go on and off on their own. You can pull them out. I really have a preference with lighting to tuck the wires in. I don't like seeing wires, but maybe the person who's receiving this won't want the lights, so I didn't go too heavy on tucking those in. It was just enough to add some shine and reflectiveness with those ornaments. I don't remember if I mentioned it or not, but I did water this in very lightly. Here, you can kind of see that. Oh, wait. What? Excuse me. You can kind of see that a little. Oh, it's snowing. That's a fun surprise. You know where I'm filming my outro. Oh, the windowsill's dirt. That's all right. Just pretend you didn't see that. But yeah, there it is. That was easy. Why are you interrupting me? Why are you? Okay, because you need a bath. Oh, you need love. Oh, your sweetheart, Pumpkin. As I was saying, simple, easy, fairly compatible as far as the plants are concerned, and hopefully there will be some longevity, at least out of the Pothos and the Neanthe, the Parlour palm. Like I said, the Poinsettia and Cyclamen are kind of hit or miss for most people. They're just kind of fussy plants. The Poinsettias aren't super fussy, but the Cyclamen, at least for me, they usually are, and they're kind of fussy indoors for me. So that's because I always underestimate the amount of water they like. They like a hefty amount of watering. It's one of the reasons I did mix that soil up with something that would hold on to a little bit more moisture. I like how the colors play together. The variegation in this Pothos works well because of the white and the Cyclamen. Then we have some white up here, and then there's just like a smorgasbord of color happening back there with the ornaments, and it's good. Very, 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 very Christmassy. Hey, but thanks for hanging out while I planted this up. Very rushed and chaotic, but you know, so is my life. Oh, you look like an otter. You do, Blinkin. Would you get that moth for me, please? You gonna get it? Okay, thanks. I hope everybody's doing well. I have all my social media linked down below in the description, so follow me and I'll follow you back. I have a lot of fun seeing what everybody's doing in their gardens, and just overall, it's a good time, especially on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. Same there as it is here, Tropical Plant Party. And comment down below, because like I just said, I love talking to everybody. Oh, and hey, hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel a lot, lets me know I've done a good job, and I really appreciate it, so thank you for doing that. And if you haven't already and you'd like to, subscribe as well. I upload multiple times a week, so hit that notification bell. That way you know when new videos come out. Alright, I need to go deliver this impromptu planter. But I hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Great life, that everything's just wonderful. As always, and most importantly, everybody, keep on growing. Bye-bye.